If you're wondering what the objects behind me all have in common, I wish I could tell you that we found a new way to create products or to do waste removal. Unfortunately, the truth is far more horrific. These are all items that young women and girls across Africa use in lieu of an affordable sanitary waste solution. And you might think, oh, this is only a few. UNICEF estimates that over 100 million schoolgirls miss school every single month simply because they cannot afford sanitary pads. Outraged, disgusted, so were my team and I, and this is why when we met at a Pan-African Youth Leadership Summit, within a month we had started Kgoshigadi, which means queen in the local language of Sepedi. We started in 2013 and to date have donated over 10,000 packets and supported over 1,500 schoolgirls. But we very quickly recognized that our solution was neither sustainable nor scalable. This is why I'm so proud to stand in front of you in Helsinki and present Nandi pads, affordable, biodegradable sanitary pads produced by women, for women, in women-owned factories, much like this one. We have a simple and easy-to-use technology that we combine with biodegradable materials such as banana fiber and a chemical-free production process that, when put together in the factories, produces the pads. That's not... One mini factory produces... So we use a social franchising model where we educate the women in sales methodologies and business ownership skills, and then they become our manufacturing distribution agents of the pads and sell to family and friends, to local schools, spazza shops and vendors, local hair salons. We have our... Sorry, the clicker's not working. To date, we have raised over 30,000 euros from technology commercialization companies. We're in talks with the Department of Social Development to sponsor 600,000 dignity packs every month, and have partnered with Code for Cape Town, a girls' coding academy, to develop a mobile app that ensures that we get girls the information that they need on a very taboo topic, so taboo that mothers won't talk to their daughters about this. And with zero marketing spend, we already have interest from 4 different African countries showing the scale of this problem. Within 5 years, we want to have produced 20 million pads and diversified into other sanitary ware products. We're also looking at using biomarkers in our pads to tell girls when to change the pads in order to prevent infection and to detect early stages of infection before the symptoms start. We also want to have our own sanitary pad vending machines and have over 15 Wi-Fi enabled Kgoshigadi factories, as well as a large-scale manufacturing plant. Our capex costs are quite low, below 25,000 euros for one factory, and you can reach break-even point within 4 months. So if you feel that this is not a sanitary pad and it should never be used as one, please do get in contact with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a big problem, and I'm glad that you're kind of approaching it. I mean, how do you get the sanitary pads in the end to the girls? I mean,
so we use a social franchise model, and we employ the local women in the local communities to sell directly to schools in the community, to sell to NGOs that are working within the communities, to sell to local hair and nail salons, as well as women's health workshops that we host. So it's an additional sales channel for the women.
So they go to the women rather expecting that the women come to them? Or
it's a mix of both. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you tell us what are the biggest challenges you're facing at the moment?
Because we're using social franchising right now, logistics and ensuring that all of our processes are 100%, that is something that we're really trying to embed right now before we start scaling up very quickly. We believe that you need a strong foundation, so you don't want to be building a house on a weak foundation that will in the end sort of break down your brand and your company. Yeah.
And do you need to invest a lot in training the women who work in the factory, or you do the training, or how are you
Definitely. We have an entire training curriculum. We train them in manufacturing skills, in business ownership skills, in sales skills as well, because we want them to retain some of the knowledge from us. And we really have constant updated workshops to ensure that they have all the necessary information and support, thereby reducing the risk of owning your own business.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the split of what the women get that are producing the pads, what you are getting, and how the revenue models work?
So, as a franchise, we take 20%, and then everything else is for them as the business to keep. And then the 5 women that are manufacturing, they get a full salary, and then the women that are distributing get a lesser salary, but then they also work on commission.
So like the Tupperware system, they just
very much so. Yeah. So that is a very common model that is used throughout communities. The communities are very strong networks, and we've gotten feedback that because of our role, our positive impact in the communities, the women would rather buy our product than, for instance, of international competitors who are available.
So how much revenue you are making? I missed that information on the slide.
Sorry, I was having trouble with the clicker. So right now we only have 1 pilot site, and we having set it up about 3 months ago, we have another 10% before we break even from the initial investment.
Awesome, and give a big thank you to Kgoshigadi.